Today we are going to go through the remaining Rosyth school. I highlighted quite a number last week as well. Mr. Tan had a total of 1370 oranges and pears at first. He sold 47 of the oranges and 265 pears. Okay, whenever you see the fraction, you have a numerator and you have a denominator, okay? I always tell you all to always circle and circle, right? And you need to understand your numbers first. So, first of all, he sold 4 units, okay, out of the 7 units. And the 7 units, right, if you see, is of the oranges. So, the 7 units must come from the oranges. Alright, so whenever you see one fraction, right, it's equal to one ratio. You all learn ratio already, right? So, one fraction equals to one ratio. The very first ratio you can come up with, right, is your oranges, okay, at first, okay, which is 7 units, and then your oranges, okay, sold, which is 4 units. If you want to save time in exam, you don't need to write the whole oranges, just write O for orange also can. Okay, so I'm just writing everything like very clear for you all to know what I'm writing. But okay, let's stick it with this way first so I have more space. Okay, so oranges in the end. Okay, 7 minus 4, right? Okay, we get 3 units at the moment. Okay, so that's the very first thing you should do when you see a fraction. Okay, that will help you. Okay, and then he also sold 265 pears. Alright, and then now the oranges left was 1 out of 2 of the pears left. It means now your oranges left is 1 and your pears left, right, is 2. Alright, so remember I told you all, right, one fraction is one ratio. So you have one more fraction here. That's another new ratio that you can come up with. And that ratio you should have is your oranges left. Okay, your oranges left is the same as your oranges in the end, right? So I'm just going to write the same way. Oranges in the end compared to your pears in the end. Okay, your pears, okay, which is 1 is to 2. Okay, now I want everybody to see something here. Okay, do you see something that is the same? Look at these oranges in the hand we have here and here. So they are referring to the same thing, right? So which also means, okay, we must make it the same. So we are going to multiply by 3, multiply by 3, okay, to make it the same. 3 to 6, okay? The reason why I multiply by 3 is such that I can make this the same. So once I can link up here and here, right, all these are my units, okay? They will not be units and parts, they will just be units. I have a number here I haven't used, 1370. Total oranges and pears. I also have another number here I haven't used, okay? 265, which is what he sold. 1370, you minus the 265 pears. These are your pears that are sold, okay? Okay. Now, when you minus, right, you are getting, okay, you will get 1105. But here's the hard part, okay, everybody? When you get 1105, right, how many units is this? This is the part that students get confused. Okay, very good. Why y'all say 13? Because he just now sold that 4 unit, but you don't look at the sold, Because you take 1370, you didn't minus that sold yet. You only minus the sold for the pears, you know. You never minus the sold for the oranges. Which also means, right, when you minus the pears sold, right, the 1105, right, is your oranges at first. Clear or not? Okay, it is still your 7 unit oranges at first. And then you minus your pears sold, so your pears in the end is 6 unit. Very good, 7 plus 6, everybody understanding well, okay? 7 unit plus 6 unit, right, is equals to 1105. You will have 13 unit is 1105. Then to find 1 unit is 1105 divided by 13, which you will get 85. And then they ask, how many more pears than oranges were there at first? Let's go and find pears at first. I know pear in the end is 6 unit. So how do I find pears at first? Given that we know that, okay, Mr. Tan sold 265 pears. So you 6 times 85. Then you still must add back the 265 that he sold already. Okay, plus the 265. That will give you pears at first is 775. Okay, everybody clear? For oranges at first it's pretty easy because it's just 7 unit, right? So if 1 unit is 85, 7 unit will be 7 times 85, 595. Okay, so now we can find the difference. How many more pears than oranges were there at first? We just have to take the pear, which is 775 at first. You minus the oranges, which is 595. So 775 minus 595, you will get answer 180. question 8, we have Mina saved $2 and $5 in the ratio of 5 to 3. She took out 36 $2 note and added the same number of $5 note, and then the ratio became 2 to 3. Your very first ratio at first, $2 note to $5 note, 5 is to 3. Then the changes, right, everybody, is you take out 36 $2 note and you added the same $5 note, everybody. So your changes, okay, your changes are very, very important because that tells you what you need to do. You minus 36 $2 note, you added the same number of $2 note, means you added 36 $5 note. Okay, what is more important than what has changed is what did not change. Can you all tell me what never changed? Okay, because this will help you to be able to do all the questions on change strategy. Yes, it's the total. Why is it the total? Whatever you minus away, you add it back, right? So it's your total, okay? Your total. Which also means, right, at this point in time, you all should already go and find the total here, which is 5 plus 3 is 8. Then, right, now I want to go and find in the end what is the ratio. Let me get out from the question. Now they say, right, the ratio is 2 to 3. So $2 to $5 to total is 2 is to 3. You take 2 plus 3 is 5. Because of the fact that you minus 36, you add back 36, the total shouldn't change. But here your total is 8, your total is 5 here, right? What should you all do? Make it the same. Yes, you make your total the same, right? Okay, you make your total here and here the same. Internal transfer. Times 5 here and times 8 here. You're right, okay? Internal transfer, we must make total the same. Alright, so if you do this correctly, you get 25 is to 15 is to 40. This one you get 16 is to 24 is to 40. Once you change your ratio already, right, I always recommend you all, right, to box up the last ratio here so that your eyes, right, your eyes will only look at the last ratio. Because sometimes very funny one. You all already changed the ratio, but then I don't know why, right, your final answer, you go and look at the original ratio, then you get wrong. And that really happened to a lot of students. That's why I always tell our students, okay, box it up so that you can see that you prevent careless mistake right there. Okay, so after you do this, what happened? I want to focus in the changes because I know the change is either you minus 36 or you plus 36. This is the only number I can work with here. So let's look at the changes, okay? $2, you have 25 unit. Then it becomes 16 unit, right? So I want you all to look at the change. 25 unit, okay, becomes 16 unit. Is a 9 unit. Yes, those of you getting 300, very good, okay? Now, isn't it the same thing if you check for $5? From 15 unit become 24 unit, right? If you take 24 unit minus 15 unit, you will also get back the 9 unit. The reason why the change is the same is because the change number here is the same. You minus 36 for $2, you also plus 36 for $5. The change number should be the same. So, right, the fact that your change is a 9 unit, right, everybody? Your 9 unit, okay, is equals to 36. 1 unit, you take 36 divided by 9, you will get 4. Find the total value of your $5 note that Mina saved at first. So, Mina saved $5 note at first is your 15 unit. Remember I told you about the boxing up, everybody? I told you box up so your eye will see here. Your eye don't see back the 3 unit. You go and use the 3 unit wrong already. To find 15 unit, since 1 unit is 4, 15 unit is 15 times 4, okay, which is 60. When you get 60, right, everybody, you're not done yet. 60 is your quantity. I see somebody say quantity, I'm very, very good. 60 is how many $5 note you have. But they are asking for the value. So if you got $65 note, right, how much is the money? Okay, so the total value, alright, is 60 times $5. That's how you get the answer, which is $300. Yes, $300. Okay, so let's take a look at question 9. We have 2 rectangular tanks, okay, shown below. Okay, this is the tank, and also we have this tank. Alright. At first, tank A was completely filled with water, and 1/3 of B was filled with water. Anybody can tell me, how do I find the height for tank B? And later there will be water flowing out, so I suppose the height will change. So I'm going to write original height, okay, of water in B. Okay, what will y'all do? So 1/3 multiplied by 36, because it's 1/3 of your total height here, right? Which is 36. Or another way is the 36 divided by 3, right? What you will have will be your 12 cm, okay? Which we can conclude, okay, is 12 cm. Okay, so next, what happened? Water flowed out of the tap at tank A at a rate of 1.2 liters per minute. And for B, water flowed in at the rate of 1.2 liters per minute. Okay, now this is actually very tricky because, right, if you look at this sentence, right, if you never read carefully, right, you might be doing the whole thing wrong. Can I request, right, my audience, right, can you tell me what are the important keywords that I haven't highlighted and is super important? Float out and float in. Thank you. I love your capital letter. Very and two. Yes. One is flowing out, another flowing in. Right or not? It's not both flowing in or not both flowing out. That's very, very important. What happened is they asked us for how long will it take for the height to be the same. Okay, so they are focusing in height, right, everybody? They want the height to be the same. Now, if they are focusing in height, right, I want you to also focus in the height. Instead of focusing in the volume, 1.2 liters right there, I want you to focus in the height, increase or decrease. If water is flowing out, everybody, can you tell me the height is increasing or decreasing? For A. Decrease, okay, thank you. Okay, remember here is per minute, okay? Height decrease in A in 1 minute, alright? So what we are going to do is we take the 1.2 liters, okay, liters not useful, okay? Why liters not useful? Because, right, cm times cm times cm is not liters. Cm times cm times cm is cm cube, right? So cm cube is more useful. So can you tell me 1.2 liter, how do you change it to cm cube first? Thank you, Xander, times 1000. Exactly, because 1 liter is 1000 cm cube, right or not? Volume is length times breadth times height. To get your height, you must take your volume. You must take your volume, do what, everybody? Divide, yes, volume divided by base area, length and breadth, right? So you have the volume here already. You need to divide it by your length and breadth. And everybody, what is your length and breadth? 20 times 30, okay? Yes. You will have 2 cm. That is your height decreasing every minute. So every time 1.2 liters of water is flowing out, your height, okay? Your height here, okay? From 40 cm, it will decrease by another 2 cm like this every minute. This is what is happening, okay, everybody? Now, remember, they asked us about the height. So I not only need to focus in the height in A, I also need to focus in the height in B, correct or not? So let's go and find out 1 minute, okay? What is the height? Now, your B, water is flowing in. Flowing in means your height will increase, okay? So if the water flowing in is 1.2 liter, right? You're going to take 1.2 liter, multiply by 1000 to get how many cm cube of water there are. And then you divide it by 40 and 25. Okay, and if you do that correctly, right, 1.2 cm. Yeah, okay, so that is something we have right here. You are supposed to find out how long it will take, okay, for the height to be the same. I'm going to let the time, okay, how long it takes, I'm going to let the time be like an unknown, 1 unit, right? If you all don't know anything, usually you let it be 1 unit, right? For tank A, right, agree with me, everybody, it started at a height of 40. Then every minute, right, for A, right, it is decreasing by 2 cm. If my time taken, let's say the how long it takes, right, is in minute, okay, 1 unit minute. 1 minute, it decreased by 2 cm. What will you do to that 2 cm and that 1 unit minute? So I just give you an example. If let's say I don't know is it 1 unit or not. Let's say it was 3 minutes. What will you all do to here? If every minute, right, your height decrease by 2 cm, and let's say you know it's 3 minutes, what will you do? You will times, right? Yeah, because 1 minute, it decreased by 2 cm. Then if it's 3 minutes, right, you will take 3 times 2, right? You'll decrease by 6 cm, right? Your times are correct. But now I want you to forget about that 3 minutes because we don't know that 3 minutes, right? Doing the same approach, you will take 1 unit, do what with 2, everybody? Yeah, 192772, you say is times, right? How many minutes pass is how many 2 cm are going to times that it will drop, right? The height. So basically, everybody, you're going to take 40, you're going to minus, this is the hard part, minus 1 unit times 2. That will then give you the height, okay, of A in the end. Everybody can understand what I'm doing or not? Okay, so I'm going to explain again if you all don't understand. Your A, right, started with 40 cm. Then every minute the height decreased by 2 cm. If we know that it's 1 unit minute that has passed, so you take 2 cm times 1 unit. Okay, that is how many cm it has dropped. So you take 40 minus how many cm it has dropped. That is the height of A in the end. Okay, now I want you all to focus in your tank B now. It started from a height of 12 cm, which we found just now already, right? So a height of 12 cm. But remember, for your B, right, water is flowing in. Water is flowing in means your height should be increasing. Okay? Every 1 minute we found out for B, right, the height increased by 1.2. So if it's 1 unit minute, how much will the height increase? What do you do here, everybody? So it's 1 unit times 1.2 cm, and it must be a plus. It must be a plus. Okay, why is it a plus? Because water is flowing in, so your height is increasing, is a plus. Everybody understand or not? This is giving the height of tank B, okay, in the end. Why I equate them to be equal? Because they say the height of the water must be the same. That's why I'm forming this equation. Okay, if you can understand, now I'm going to erase all this so that I can do it. So I have 40 minus 1 unit times 2 is your 2 unit. 1 unit times 1.2 is your 1.2 unit. From here, right, how do you understand this equation? If your math is very good, you know, like bring over all that. Okay, go ahead. But then if you are a bit confused, like don't know what to do, right, I'm going to show you a model that you can understand. So the model, right, I will begin with a 40. So you imagine I draw my model, okay? And that model right here, right, everything here to here it was a 40. What happened is I'm going to minus a 2 unit. So if I minus a 2 unit, I will cut a 2 unit here, right? And then the 2 unit I minus away, I'm going to shade like diagonal lines, okay? Shade away. So after I shade away that 2 unit, I am left with 12 plus 1.2u. So I have left with 12, and then also 1.2 unit, okay? 1.2 unit, okay? I don't have much space, so I'm just going to give it a little bit more space like this. Then you all can see a little bit more clearly what you're going to do, right? 1.2 unit plus 2 unit, you will plus. And once you plus already, that value is equals to 40. Do out with the 12. Yes, so 40 minus 12. Okay? So your 3.2 unit, right, is 40 minus a 12, you'll get a 28. So your 1 unit, right, is a 28 divided by 3.2. And that's how you'll get 8.75. Remember, when you get 1 unit, right, what does it represent? Your 1 unit, you define it as how long it will take for the height to be the same just now. So that also means that when you get your 1 unit, right, you have already gotten the answer. That is the duration. Can you all see or not? Okay, so your final answer here is 8.75 minutes. Okay, 8.75 minutes. Okay, we have in the figure below, ABCD is a rhombus. Okay, and we have PQ, RS are 2 straight lines. So PQ and RS are 2 straight lines. We are given the 134 degree, they already marked out here. 15 degree already marked out here. 106 degree already marked out here. Okay, so this question very nice. They already marked out all the angles they give you, right? We need to find CTD. CTD, okay, so like this, right? CTD. Okay, so we have this one. Right? Okay, this is the angle we need to find. What can you all do first, right? You go back to what you learned about rhombus. So you know that for rhombus, right, this angle and this angle right here, okay, I think I will mark out in like that. What do you know about them, everybody? They are equal. Milkshake say that diagonally opposite angles are equal, correct? So you should first know this is 134. Now I want you to focus in this part here. Which specifically, right, I want you to focus here. Anything that you can find at all. Oh, by the way, I just want to say this misconception. When the line cut like this, right, can you divide by 2? Because that is something that students like to do a lot. When can you divide by 2 and when can you not? I just want to do a quick revision with you all, okay? Because it's very important. Once you get this wrong, right, you may never get your geometry question correct. Because you always have that, misconception. Sometimes you never clear the misconception, right? You keep making the same mistake that will cost you marks, right? Okay, so right, if this is 134, everybody, and this is a rhombus, okay? I want you to bear in mind, this is your rhombus. This is your rhombus, okay? Now, your rhombus, right, if I cut a line like this, bearing in mind I cut from the diagonal from one side to the diagonal here, it is safe, right, to say it's 134 divided by 2. It is okay to do that. In fact, you should do that, you know. It is 67. So you are saying that this is 67 and this is 67 plus together is 134. This is correct, okay? This is correct, everybody. But if you have a diagonal line that cut like this, and this line here, it never cut through that corner, right? You cannot divide by 2, okay? So if here is 134, right? And you go and take 134 divided by 2 equals 67, right? This is wrong. It doesn't cut that line equally into half. That is not a property of a rhombus. Because, right, for a rhombus, you should know the sides are equal. So the sides are equal, you can actually put the line equal line like that. So it's an isosceles triangle. Okay, in fact, this isosceles triangle and this isosceles triangle will be the same. So that also means that this angle here and this angle will be the same. Only, okay, given the fact your diagonal must cut from the one corner to another corner, then it works. Okay, if you are clear, then I want to continue this question. Okay, maybe the 134 a bit distracting to you. If I move it away, okay, I want you to see here. Can you see something you can do? Isn't it you can find this angle first? So whatever you can find, go and find because it will help you. That is your angle DCT. Okay, this is a straight line. So you are going to take 180 degrees minus 15 degrees minus 106 degrees. You are going to have 59 degrees, correct or not? So you're going to have 59 degrees right here. Okay, let me bring back that 134. Just now you told me that diagonally opposite angles are the same. So if your rhombus, okay, here is 134, here will also be 134, right? So you know that this whole thing, big thing right here, the angle is 134. Okay, then y'all can see something a little bit better, right? How do you find this angle now? Which I will label it as TCB, right? TCB. 134 degrees minus 59 degrees, and you will have 75 degrees. Now, once you get here, right, is your 75 degrees, you actually got your answer already because, right, you want to find here, right? Okay, your rhombus, remember, they are parallel lines on the opposite side. So if you take a look, right, like this, right, you have your Z-shaped parallel lines here, can see? So it means, right, your angle here will be equal to the angle here. So once you get the 75, actually you got the answer, which is your angle CTD, okay? Which is what they want. Okay, angle CTD. Yeah, so we got the answer already. At the charity walkathon, there was an equal number of children who took part in either the 3 km walk or the 5 km walk. Now, okay, everybody, when you see the keyword equal, right, okay, you should think of certain methods that you should use to do, okay, if you're a primary 6 student. Can you all suggest to me what kind of method, right, should you be thinking of when you see the keyword equal? Okay, somebody say ratio, yes, you can do ratio. That is a very, very important method also when you see equal. Who can tell me? Angela says model, very good, yeah. People is super important. PSLE love to come out equal. Now, let's draw our model, okay? Do this, 3 km walk and your 5 km walk. Draw them to be equal, like this, okay? And then, when I draw them to be equal, be very mindful, what is the thing that's equal? Is your number of children, okay? So, I'm going to write number of children, okay? Alright, next. There were 208 girls who took part in the 3 km walk. 162 girls who took part in the 5 km walk. Okay, now these are information you can fill up in your model. In your 3 km walk, right, 208 girls. So from my 3 km walk, right, out of my total children, I can actually fill up 208 girls. Okay, then the 162 girls. Bear in mind, everybody, this is girls. And these are the only numbers that appear. The only numbers that appear, right, you need to put them together, okay? Don't go and suddenly put the 162 like somewhere behind here. Don't do that. Because why? Because we are not sure here even got 162 or not. We don't know the number there. You know, it can be less than 162. Then the fact that you go and put it at the back, then it may be wrong already. So make sure you park your 162, right, okay, together with your 208 at the left side, okay? So here, you're going to put your 162, okay? Alright, then what happened? 60% of the boys took part in the 5 km walk. So what you know is that whatever left at the back here, because here in front are your girls, right? So whatever at the back must be your boys. And you know that at the back here, this is 60% of your boys. Okay, now if you know this is 60% of your boys, everybody tell me what do you know here? Very, very important. Okay, Ducky say 40% boys must be here. Exactly. Because if 60% of the boys took part in the 5 km walk, then the remaining 40% of the boys must take part in the 3 km walk. Make sense? Because 60 plus 40 equal 100. If you cut this part, right, it's 60 minus 40. Agree with me? It's 60% minus 40%. Agree with me? Now, if you cut this part, you take 60 minus 40, it's equivalent of you doing what to your 208,162. If you cannot see, right, I'm going to make parts equal for you. Okay, instead of writing the 208, right, I will write the 208 outside. 208 outside. Then if I make parts equal, right, isn't it, this is my 162? 208 minus 162. Okay, but let me finish this first. Okay, 20%. So you will take 208 minus your 162. Okay, you will get 46. So this part here is a 46. And then you can tell, oh, 60% minus 40% is your 20%. 20% of your boys is equals to your 46. Alright? Jill, why is 40% girls, not the 5 km one? Angela say, this one 60%, then teacher, this one 40%. Why is it not the 40% there? Why your 40% is here? Why is that so? Because I want to look, Angela, I want to look here. 60% of the boys. It means, right, your boys must be your 100%. If your boys is 100%, 60% go and attend your 5 km run, then your 40% must be also boys. Okay, Angela? How many boys took part in the 5 km walk? 5 km walk, isn't it, is 60%? Okay, so to find 60%, we will multiply by 3. Okay, we multiply by 3. So 4, 6 times 3, 138. Yeah, so we get the answer 138 for part A. Okay, part B. Find the total amount of money raised by the children in this charity walkathon. Let's look at the money. Where's the money? Okay, I haven't read this part. For every 1 km walk by the children, $10 was donated to the charity. So every 1 km, you will donate $10. So first of all, I want to know how many km, right, in total. So can you tell me how to find how many children here? Okay, let me label it clearly. How many children are there for this part of your model? 162 here, which is your girls, plus your boys, 60% is your 138, okay? So you plus 138 like this. You will get 300 people who participated in the 5 km run. If here is 300, right? Here is also 300 people. So total, right, is 300 people who walk 5 km, you times 5 km, plus 300 people who walk 3 km, so you go and times 3 km. In total is 1500 km plus your 900 km. They walk together is 2400 km. So it's 2400 km. You will take 2400, you times 10. Okay, times 10 means what? Means just add one more zero behind, right? Okay, so you will have, over here is 24000, right? So it's $24,000.